Okay, so in this video today, I'm going to explain exactly how I lost $7,020,000 in the last 4 years. I started my business in October 2023. However, I wanted to start it in 2017. So as you can notice, that's already a 5-year gap, and that was almost 2 years ago. You can literally scroll to my Instagram since even before that, posting reels. I have some of the cringiest motherfucking reels on Instagram. But genuinely, I couldn't give less of a fuck because it shows the journey. And I look back at that like with pain in my chest, watching how shit it is, basically. So if we continue off this same timeline, October 2023, before this, I was doing a 9 to 5. I was dialing fucking life insurance leads, doing $300 a day minimum, making about 55 grand a year for about 50 hours a week in work. Disgraceful. So what did I do? I went into closing, and I closed from October 2023 all the way until June 2025. There was a break, I will admit, between February 2025 and June 2025, because I quit closing and went all in on the biz, which I'll explain in a sec. So in this time period between October and June, I took 3,000 plus sales calls, closed over $2,700,000 and invested over $50,000 into my skill set. See, now, since going all in on the biz and stopping closing in June, my business went from 4K a month to, guess how much? $96,000 in contracted revenue. And I don't say this to brag, I say this because I want to show you exactly what's possible, and I want to show you exactly how you get there. In order to understand how you must get there, you must first understand why you're not there in the first place, which is what I had to do. So if we go back to 2017, bearing in mind that we are now in 2025, for any of you that are good at maths, that is a 8-year difference. So 8 years ago, 8 times 12, 96. That's 96 months that I've been wanting to start my business since before I did. Since before I hit $96,000, ironically. Because let's say that I locked in at the exact time I wanted to start my business and I took action and I had no limiting beliefs. Watch this. So 96 minus 21, 75. That's 75 months times $96,000, which equals something like 7,020,000 basically, roughly, give or take. Because had I believed in my own capability 8 years ago when I was, 16, and I started this fucking business, I started to learn the skills, I started to get the reps in, I started to do everything that I was so afraid of doing, there's no reason why I could not be at here or more. That's based on the fact that we have no growth. Of course, everything happens for a reason, everything happens at the right time, but this is important to reflect, and this is how you understand exactly what you need to change, because you understand what you've already missed out on. Yes, that's a fucking painful number to look at. Would that be the end goal? No. But you now need to ask yourself 3 things. Number 1, deepest goal that you have in your life. How long have you wanted to achieve that? And I bet you can guess what's coming next. Number 3 is how much is it costing you not to take action? When you work it out like that, you'll be fucking so surprised about how logistically you can be doing so much more. You can be making so much more money. Because I definitely could be as well. Because with this, there needs to be an element of humility, you know? There needs to be an element of thinking, fuck, I could have done that. Oh, I was only 16 at the time. Doesn't matter, does it? Because Iman Gadzhi started his business when he was fucking about 5 years old, didn't he? And now look at him. So what the fuck is your excuse? Because there's no difference between you and him. Theoretically, is there? To get philosophical about it, like we're all humans, right? Like we're all capable of the same thing. People just weren't born being able to run an SMMA business. Do you know what I mean? People weren't just born and thought, yeah, fuck. All right then. Yeah, wicked. I'll run a fucking dropshipping company. Like, no. So now you know how much it's costing you. Now you have to ask yourself, if this is you, where you're at now, earning the money that you are right now. You have the life that you have right now, but you know that you're capable of more. Right now, there is this wall in front of you that you need to jump over to get to the other side, because the road is there. But you need to jump over this wall to be able to get to this side. Now, there is a version of you who's already done it. There is a version of you who's already here, living the life, making the money that they want to make. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, this person here, what did they have to overcome internally to be able to get over this wall? What does this wall consist of? What are the bricks made out of? What the fuck is in the way of you achieving your goals? Because you can't think of anything external, because then that just puts you the wrong way. If you and I and Iman Gadzhi are capable of all of the same things with our hands, with our fucking fingertips at a laptop, then the question that you need to ask yourself is, what internally is fucking stopping you? Because for me, it was a big wall of fear. fear of failure. But then you have to ask, why are you scared to fail? Which we'll touch on in a sec. Because if you're still thinking to yourself, well, I don't know what this wall is made out of, think about him. What beliefs does the version of you he's making 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 grand a month? What are his beliefs and how are they different to yours? What did he have to overcome to get over the wall? What did he have to let go of to be able to get there? I guarantee that this motherfucker is taking motherfucking action. This motherfucker is not. However, the most interesting part about this is that these two people, they both have the same feeling of fear. This one just lets it drive him forward versus this one lets it hold him back. When he needs to stop looking this way and he needs to start looking this way at what he's actually capable of. This was the biggest shift for me. This took me from earning literally $0 in high ticket sales to earning over $15,000 within the space of 5 months. This also took my business from 4K a month, like I mentioned, to 96K a month. So you need to pay attention to who you are capable of being. So you might ask now, well, what do you take action towards? And this isn't me about to pitch you some sales training or anything mad like that, don't worry. What I'm gonna tell you is what you need to look for in a vehicle. See, what you want in a vehicle is speed. You don't wanna be driving like a fucking little fucking Faggio or whatever they're fucking called. You don't wanna be driving one of these little fucking mopeds. No, you wanna be on the fucking the Kawasaki, right? You wanna be on the fucking superbike. The ultimate question is, how do you find speed? You learn the biggest needle moving skill, because skill and speed are directly correlated. The better you are at something, the quicker you make progress and the quicker you get the result that you want. So if you focus your input on skill rather than speed, your speed will start to compound. And yes, the initial months will be slow. It will be front loaded. You'll have to put in so much work, time and time and time again. And then before you know it, boom, you'll just blow up out of nowhere. And that's why they say success is like this. Because you have to spend all of this time learning the skill, failing on the skill. Then you get it. Then you have this point of just like, fuck, I understand this now. Boom. And you can leverage your time higher to make this skill move faster. Normally, it requires learning the hardest thing first. Luckily, in this case, it's not. And that is why I love high ticket sales. Because whether you run a fucking business or whether you're in a 9 to 5 or whether you're already closing, once you learn how to sell effectively, you don't ever need to worry about money again. And you can literally learn this skill in like 3, 4, 5 months max before you at least have a fucking solid foundation. Sales is literally one of the easiest things to learn. And I don't care whether you learn it through me or not, but I want you to know that it is the easiest thing to learn. I teach fucking hundreds of people how to get good at sales. People who are printing from literally $0 to $35,000 a month in the space of 3 months. It's fucking insane. Right now, you might be working a 9 to 5 and thinking, well, sales just isn't my thing. Or in your business, you might, I'll just place a closer, it'll be fine. I don't need to worry about the sales. That's a fucking lie, because you are your own business. Whether you work that 9 to 5 or whether you run your own fucking info product, you are the fucking business. So if you're not able to sell yourself, how the fuck do you expect anybody to ever buy from you? So the question is, how do you get good at sales? There's a video that I uploaded where I lay out the full blueprint that took me from literally $0 in my bank account to over $96,000 a month on my channel. And if you don't watch it, you are gay as fuck. But before you take a direction and before you take a step into a new version of you in any aspect of life, you must first leave this old version of you behind. Because this old version of you is looking this way, the new version of you is looking this way into who we can become. But how would you do that? Well, you have to start from zero. You have to go from this self-image that you've built up here, which if the top is here and the bottom is here, you probably place yourself about here. Now, in order to become the best version of you, you must first leave this version of you behind, which a lot of the time, like I said, means starting from zero to be able to go up. Because sometimes in life, you need to take at least 1 or 2 steps back in order to actually fucking astrally catapult yourself into the dimension that you want to live in and become this motherfucker. The one who makes the money, got the muscle, got the bitches, got the fucking lifestyle that he wants to have. And all of his friends fucking come to him and it's like, oh my God, how'd you make so much money? That's this guy. Because right now you might even make more money than all of your friends anyway in your 9 to 5. Or you're probably the only person in your entire friend group who is a digital nomad, who's already running the business, and you just kind of think like, oh, I'm chilling. I haven't really got much stress. Everybody just kind of thinks that I'm just living this life, living a high life, 5, 10, 15K a month. They think you're a baller, but you know that you're capable of more. So you might ask me like, Jack, why is this difficult to do? The reason why is because there is no doubt in my mind that you've probably worked extremely hard to get to this position here. So to go back to zero and to essentially erase all your progress and actually start again from the bottom is fucking terrifying. It's intimidating. Why? Because you have to induce failure. And if we loop back to that point that we mentioned at the start of the video, why is failure scary? Failure is scary because we genuinely care about what somebody's going to think of us when we fail, whether that's our perception of ourselves or perception of others. Because why would somebody be scared to fail? Like, whose opinion is it that matters? Whose opinion is it that you think of when you think, oh, if I failed, then they would say something? Or if I told someone and it didn't work out, then they would say something, or I'd be concerned as to those people would make fun of me. For me, it was the most random thing. Like, it was these Donnies in school, like the popular grouping of kids in school. Like, I used to think, fuck, they're just gonna take the piss out of me. I'm gonna be a laughing stock, da da da. But then the quicker that I came to terms with that, I was like, actually, bro, you literally walk around the planet once. Why the fuck are you concerned about some people who are gonna work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life? You know that you can do more. So I became this version of me. Because look, regardless of what side you are on this, what you do know is that this version of you is saying stuff to you. There's a thought in your mind. At least this version of you exists in your mind. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have even found this video. This version of you exists in your mind. You can hear he's saying, push for more, do it, do it, do it. But this current perception that you've got looking this way is not serving you. So that's actually causing you to take steps in a different direction to the land of fucking brokies. And this guy's like, no, come back, motherfucker. And you're just like, nah. You're giving the middle finger to this motherfucker, and he's like, bro, come on, I'm telling you, you got this. And so you have this battle, and you know that this voice, the further that you step away, every time that you don't take an action and he tells you to take it, every time that you take an action against the version of you who you want to be, that voice gets quieter because you get further away. But the best thing about this is the closer that you step, the more actions that you take, that voice gets louder. Then when you become this version of you, boom, there's another version of you all the way over here. And then you start to get bigger thoughts, bigger aspirations, and the same goals that you had here look tiny now. And yeah, this version of you still tries to talk and pull you back. That's normal. That happens to everyone. But the interesting thing is that when you start to take the steps of this man, then you start to make the real fucking progress. Even money aside, like you start to look at yourself like, damn, I'm the fucking guy. Because when you become this guy, not only does your life change, but your circle of friends changes, your ability to experience opportunities change, and you just start to develop this huge fucking storybook of experiences that you would have never even thought that you would have had. So which person is it more important for you to be? The type of guy who lets fear outweigh his ambition? Or is it more important for you to be the guy who, regardless of how high the fucking wall is, he climbs up the motherfucking wall time and time again? And yes, he falls. Yes, he gets hurt. Yes, he gets cuts, bruises, scars, wounds. But he doesn't let that stop him. He continues to climb and climb and climb and climb because he knows that regardless of how uncomfortable the climb on the wall is, on the other side of that wall is everything that he's ever wanted. Because every time that you hesitate on the dream and the life and the fucking vision that you set for yourself, this wall goes from this, which you could pretty much easily climb over with a few steps and a few months, turns into this. Every time you hesitate, you add a brick. Every time you hesitate, you put another layer of cement. And before you know it, you've built up this fucking huge wall in your mind between you and action, because every time you hesitate, you doubt. Every time you doubt, you delay. Every time you delay, you just find yourself in this fucking cycle of, like, let's say hesitation leads to delay. Delay leads to doubt. Doubt leads to inaction. And when you don't act, guess what that is? Hesitation. So if you're sick to death of being the guy who lets fear outweigh his ambition, and you can see this other side of the wall, but you're hesitating, you're not acting, and you want to find a way to make some serious fucking money in a short space of time, whether you run your fucking info business, whether you're earning more money than all of your friends at a 9 to 5, then below, I've plugged my Calendly, and you can go and you can book in a one-to-one call with me, and I might accept you. No guarantees, but if I do, make sure that you're ready to put in the fucking work, because we have some money to make. And even if you don't, I don't mind. There's still hundreds of fucking students that I've got within my program who are absolutely printing. I wish you a good day and a good life. And even if you join me or not, I hope that you find a way to climb this motherfucking wall.